Welcome to Effective Evolution. And today we'll be going over Charon, which is a moon. And you'll find that there are some very interesting elements to consider. Lots of symmetries and structures that stand out. And it does have some very intelligent architecture. And we'll use all of the various techniques to go over this, and you're welcome to come up with your own ideas and whatnot. And let's get right to it. To Effective Evolution. And today we're going over Charon, which is a moon of Saturn. And this is a very interesting space object. And simply because after you go over various structures or whatnot with the various techniques, we can come up with some very interesting ideas. And we'll get right to that. Now, just zooming in at the start, there are many areas to consider. For example, structures like here, 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 any place on this particular panorama. And of course, there are many panoramas you can obtain via the NASA website and other places as well, combined with all of the tools and techniques that you can enjoy. There's lots to speculate about and to come up with your own ideas. After your eyes adjust to the scenery, there are many, many interesting areas to consider. You can probably come up with some of your own ideas right away. For example, right over here and at the top here. So let's get more detail out of this, if we may. And using the color brightness tool and also rotating this particular view of Charon, you come up with this particular scenario. And just to bring some attention to things, you can readily discern some interesting architecture. For example, right here, you can see the symmetry in some of these objects. And after you get more familiar with the particular view, you start to wonder what these objects are. And there are many, many structures here. And for example, this object here that's a vertical tower arch-like structure that's just in a peculiar position. It's just asking for attention the way it's located. Very inviting to go over. There are some structures here as well that you can just speculate about. And it takes a while, of course, just to usurp all of the information in the scene, of course. All over here, there's lots of things and panoramas to contemplate about. And in particular, we'll just look at some structures. For example, with the use of the invert tool along with the color brightness tool, you can come up with this scenario. Now, if you look inside here, there are many shapes that you can discern, and it's all over the place. Actually, there's some interesting objects in here as well. Are these buildings? Are there towers in here? Is this a village or a city scene or whatnot? Is this some type of transportation bridge or whatnot? It's very interesting after a while. Here's that arched object again. Mind you, this has been rotated a bit more. Interesting objects in here. After a while, you find that the structures really just present themselves to you. For example, are these buildings here? It's very interesting, you must admit. And on the side here, you can see that it is a darker shade. However, there are some objects that do look like they have symmetry, that are well thought of with regards to their architecture. Just let your eyes focus on that. And after a while, you can come up with some grand ideas. Now, here's that object that we were just going over. It looks like an arch, like a type of structure to say hello. There's someone here. Welcome. And just to focus a bit more on that, without getting too pixelated, you can see there are interesting objects in the background there as well. And this is very intriguing as well. There seems to be some peculiar architecture here. Now, would this be a type of building or whatnot? And along this side, you can see that there are shadows up here. It is very symmetrical shapes in here. Is this a type of dwelling or whatnot? There seems to be an entrance here, some type of rectangular structure to invite entrance and exits or whatnot. And is this a building here? Is this some type of machine structure to process something? Is it an observation tower or whatnot, along with its connections? And this structure over here, this round structure, that looks somewhat peculiar as well. And just to zoom in a bit on this area, this seems to be a type of face. If you look at it carefully, you can see it does look a bit like an alien face. There are eyes here, or eye sockets, mouth, bit of a nose, round head, and it's located right on this inviting plateau. Very interesting, to say the least. And this is one of the areas that we just touched on at the start. And we're using the object chroma hue tool, which brings out some colors to show the contours around it and also the shadows. And it's been rotated a bit as well. Just zoom in a bit more on that. And it seems to be in a type of groove here. Is that some type of vehicle or building that's either moving along that groove or situated there for some reason? Very peculiar, you must admit. And looking at the side that we just went over, I just rotated this a bit and we used the invert tool. You can see that there are some very interesting contours here. You can see there are rectangles, there are concentric circles with objects in the center. Shapely vistas here. Is this part of a complex of structures or whatnot? And of course, there are many other areas that could be probed, and it is very enjoyable to go over this and come up with your thoughts. And over here, there seems to be some symmetry as well, rotating the panorama once more and using the brightness tool, contrast tool, and the exposure tool. Seems to be various structures here. And there's the vertical arch once more. And these appear to be vertical structures. Are they towers? And over here as well, buildings of some sort. So we'll leave it at that. And please go over this at your leisure time or whatnot and come up with some ideas. Until next time, thank you for your time. We leave Charon for now. There are many structures to consider, and if you go over the panorama, I'm sure you've noticed that there's some very interesting architectural designs to consider, and there's definitely some pre-planning involved to come up with these structures and ideas. And of course, you're welcome to use your imagination to come up with your thoughts and whatnot. And hopefully you found this very interesting with regards to this moon, Charon. Until next time, thank you once again for your collaboration.